Alright, so first off it's called What's in Your Head, and that's my piece. It's going to be a short film, probably about 5 minutes long, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending on how much I do. So first I'll talk about the artist that has actually influenced my piece and like my idea. So first off we have June Choi, and she's like a visual kind of mental health like artist. She came from London. She only graduated not too long ago actually, and her pieces, as you can see, are very like depression heavy, anxiety ridden heavy, stuff like that, and kind of stuff that obviously she feels in her own mind. So I thought that was something that I can take from kind of my artwork as well. So my artwork is quite similar. Next we have Yayoi Kusama, and basically her pieces are full of polka dots. That's her kind of repetitive thing since like '83 when she started doing her designs. And basically she's not visual mental health heavy, but she has got a mental illness, and it's quite severe to the point that she said if she didn't have her artwork she'd probably kill herself. My piece, I don't think my artwork and my work necessarily means if I didn't have it I'd kill myself, anything like that. I'm just saying it's pretty, influential, to say the least. And my personal artwork, as you can see, this is only a bit of my artwork, but my whole kind of thing that I'm going for is darkness versus light, which is a contrast between happy and sad. So you can't see it on the screen, but this piece was kind of a piece that was separate, but I kind of taped on, and the darkness was all around, and then there's a tiny, tiny, tiny shade of light. This is a piece called My Sun, which is basically like a drawing, a painting of like the sun, and it's mainly dark, and there's shades of white, which is again lightness and dark, but I've added in shades of blue for the natural kind of colour, shades of like gold for like the golden moments in life and stuff like that, and then again light and dark. I used charcoal, and then what I did was on this piece I stuck a bit of my script from my last piece on to kind of connect like the idea of my old piece to this piece, because they're slightly similar, slightly the idea behind it. Then this one's called Tears, so basically it's like, again, as you can see, light and dark, and basically that's the whole kind of piece that I'm going for. And in my piece as well, I think I've got an amazing location for what I'm kind of aiming for. So it's an abandoned, I think it was an abandoned tin factory. From what I can tell, when I went in there, I had a look on last Sunday, and it wasn't too dangerous. It's quite a nice location. I've done like a heavy location wrecking, like risk assessment. As long as I'm careful, and on the day I bring responsible and like kind of mature people with me, it should be all okay. There's about 2 or 3 stories in the actual factory that you can get into, apart from the first story, because that's blocked off, so I'm guessing it's too bad. And fingers crossed, when I go there, it should be isolated, so there should be no other people there. But there's a lot of like kind of opportunity for, as I said, the whole idea of darkness and light, because obviously some parts of it are really bright, and then other parts are quite, dark, which is perfect. My story is a man is trapped in this like isolated location, and no one's around, and essentially there are going to be mirrors, and each story, not story, but each floor has a different mirror, and when he goes towards it, he's going to have to look into it, and it's going to show him glimpses, or you're going to hear glimpses of his past, or stuff like that. Considering why he's pretty mental health heavy, and why he's kind of the way he is, he's going to have to kind of face it, because he's been avoiding it his whole life, and he's been getting on with his life, but not in the most healthiest of ways. So basically the idea is at the end he's going to be free from it, because he's going to, so it starts off with him, the first mirror he's going to turn it around, representing he's always been ignoring it, and then the second one he's going to cover it with a sheet to say that he's been covering up his old life, and then finally he's going to smash the mirror, which represents freedom. And all of my piece is in black and white, and the reason why is mainly because in my life that's all I kind of see, there's black and white, but mainly it's black. So mainly it's kind of sad and miserable and stuff like that. Not to say I'm an unhappy person, it just take each day as it comes, and my mental health is going to be shown really heavily in this product, and it's the first time I've actually managed to kind of decide to do something that's based on my life, because I've always worried about it, or it's not really been the right kind of option for me to take, and I've always wanted to do, you know, what's right in the guidelines, but this time I'm trying to take it a little bit outside the box. And as I said before, it represents happiness and sadness. So the reason that I couldn't think of a reason other than I always watch films, and if they're shot in black and white, other than when they need to be, I don't really see the point. So there was a film recently called A Field in England a couple of years back, and it was shot in black and white, but I couldn't really figure out why. But I feel like mine has a purpose as to why I'm actually doing it. So there's not like, you know, a random reason. And examples of like what I've used in black and white is my work. This piece is going to be another example, but mainly it's my work, and I'm just hoping it goes well. Even this PowerPoint I've done in black and white, hence why I said, you know, black and white is my big piece that I'm going for. And the music choice I'm going for is Milk Music. They're a band that kind of focus on the mind. So I'm starting off with a song called Twists, Turns and Head Trips by them. To start off with, and that's all about, you know, what kind of thought processes you go through, and then it's going to be Who's Been in My Dream, which again is kind of the idea of paranoia, and then finally it's Dramatic Exit, which is going to end the song. And Dramatic Exit is quite a music kind of heavy thing, so it's like ideas of when there's kind of a clear kind of pattern going through the whole thing. Hopefully the music has a, you know, a kind of reflection on that. And thanks for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me anything.
Your location, where is it?
In Birmingham, in Digbeth. It's literally around the corner from Moore Street, the station.
Right. Have you got permission to be in there?
I can't find anyone to ask permission of.
Okay,
I've done a little bit of research, but I think it's just an abandoned factory, but I don't know who I'd have to ask.
Okay. There's no sign of security?
No sign of security, no one's there, no barriers up, nothing.
I think it would be worth having a contingency, another way of, you know, another place that you could shoot that, just in case, A, there are barriers up when you go and do it, or B, you get kicked out when you're there. I mean, it looks relatively safe.
I know that there's a YouTube group that did a piece there, and they didn't get kicked out. They had permission and everything. So I'm guessing if I find the right people, I can find permission.
I would be inclined. Yeah, I think my advice would be to try and get permission to be there.
Okay.
Because there are health and safety, you know, considerations. It's you know, it is a great location. I'm not denying that. But I would be happier if we could see evidence that you'd actually researched about getting permission to be there.
Okay.
And, as I say, have a contingency in place. I mean, as you were describing it, I could see you actually really only need one floor, because you could shoot it from different angles. And
it's a really big, kind of large location, so yeah, one floor could probably do it.
Equally, you could shoot it in a dark space if you needed to, you know, with the mirror, and do something, you know, where the environment is less important than the subject. So if you shot it in a black space, then people would be looking less at the location and thinking, wow, what a great location. And they might be thinking more about the issues that you're trying to talk about and raise. Thank you. Who are you going to, logistically, how are you going to shoot it?
Well, I'm starting off with a long shot. And
yeah, I mean in terms of who's going to do it. Who's your crew?
Oh, so I've got Sam for my cameraman.
Sam Britton.
Yep, I'm going to direct it. I haven't thought of an actor yet. I'm thinking, because it's a personal thing, I'm debating about doing it myself, but not because of, you know, laziness. It's just because I know how it feels. I know the point I'm trying to make. But that's only if I don't manage to find an actor. That's like a last resort. I don't particularly want to do it myself. I want to find someone who's strong enough to, you know, do that acting role. But then again, it is a really strong acting role, and I don't want that piece to be let down because of, you know, not to be rude, but really poor acting skills. So that's the main issue I'm facing. But other than that, I don't think I don't think I need a big crew. I think I just need one or two crew, and I'll be there as well. So to direct it, and I'll do the script, and it's just the actor. That's the only concern. Just the actor.
Okay. What other? I mean, you've obviously researched your artists. Have you looked at any other influences for, you know, the visual style of your piece?
Do you know the film Get Out?
Yeah.
The Oscar. Yeah, I've influenced kind of how I'm going to shoot it through that.
Okay. So tell me how.
Do you know the opening scene where it's just
describe it for me.
It's one massive continuous shot, which is probably about a minute and a half, and it basically goes from like tracking backwards, and the camera kind of stays like kind of stationary, and the character walks in, and then it kind of goes from in front kind of to the back, and then it goes back when the car comes past, it goes back to the front of the character, and then it goes back again. And there's only one cut in the whole sequence, and that's just when he gets like the guy gets like kind of captured and put in the trunk of the car, and then it cuts to like a really wide shot to the car driving off. So I've got a similar idea where I'm gonna follow in it's only the opening scene. I'm gonna follow the kind of character, and instead of it having like, you know, a car turn up, it's going to be quite a thought-out piece, because I've got to make sure that I don't get the camera in the mirror. So I'm going to make the mirror turn up at the end, and then I'm going to come back to the guy noticing the mirror, and then I'm going to like do a cut facing at the mirror, and then him walk into the mirror. But again, it's just trying to make sure I do the right way. I don't want to have like a continuous shot where it keeps being ruined because I'm getting the camera, like just a glimpse of the camera in the mirror, because it would just break it completely.
It would be helpful to see a storyboard.
I'm going to be creating a storyboard hopefully on the weekend. I couldn't, because my storyboard artist, who I've been using the whole year continuously, has only just come back from uni. So.
Okay. So is there any sync sound in it? Is it a scripted piece in terms of dialogue?
It's scripted with dialogue, but it's mainly heavy narration. So it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be the same voiceover of the person who's doing it, or it's going to be my voiceover saying about like talking about his story.
Perhaps it would be better to cast a separate person to do the voiceover, like a voice actor.
Okay.
Because you might find that your physical actor does a great physical performance, but doesn't have the right tone for the piece. And I think that using your own voice, I don't know. It's something to think about. Still look for a voice actor, and you might find that there are people locally who would want to get involved in that.
I mean, I had an idea anyway. The actor I'm using is quite young. I was thinking with the narrator, I'd kind of like a strong, kind of grown-up voice to represent because at the end of my piece it cuts out from this factory, if I use that location. It kind of fades out, and it's like this older gentleman sat in a coffee shop anyway. So I think the narration is going to be him talking about his past. So it's going to be talking in third person anyway. So maybe the idea of finding an older person would be more beneficial for my piece.
Yep, totally. Can't think of anything else. I'll stop the camera there.
Okay.